Y'all want to hear my super fun theory about the pyramids? I'm going to show you the actual science behind this, and then tell you why I think they built them. What they are actually for. When they were actually used. First things first, a brief timeline of ancient Egypt. I do believe exactly none of these people built those pyramids. I do believe that these people right here got off the ark and multiplied. We can discuss that part later. I do believe the evidence shows that these buildings right here were constructed before the flood. And that's partly because they can be found all over the world on every continent, not Antarctica. Wait till it thaws. Wait till it thaws out and then we'll see what's on Antarctica, won't we? I do believe the pyramids the world over are the remnants of a pre-flood civilization, the antediluvian world. Atlantis, if you want. First, a brief word about time and dates. I'm not sure how it's escaped everyone, but time is relative and experiences dilation, periods where it gets stretched out, and periods where it gets condensed. Just all the time. It goes through this just like everything else. And I do mean in constant flux, time and space both stretch out and condense, stretch out and condense. So if we're looking back at the historical record and trying to put times and dates on everything, using a standard measurement in a dynamic system where that measurement stretches out and condenses, I think not. If we are in a period where time is condensed, and we're measuring all of time as if it stays that way when it does not, we do err greatly. It's gonna look like millions and billions of years, and we're gonna look like fools writing that down on the paper, because it ain't no such thing. You ask a modern academic how old the Earth is, he might say a million billion years. 4.5 billion years, what he'll say probably. Ask a galaxy, he's gonna say 6 days. Anyway, geometry is super important to reality in every way, shape, and form. Shape and form. Now, what may appear to you and I as a pyramid, well, you see, in real life, it's a toroid. You might say, no, it's not, it's a pyramid. Just like I say the Earth is a toroid, and people say, no, it's not, it's an oblate spheroid. Or a frisbee, depends on who you ask. Look, I'm not talking about the parts you can see, I'm talking about the part your dirt eyeballs cannot observe. It is a toroid. The pyramid shape induces a magnetic field. It sucks the ions out of the upper ionosphere, and you can't just have a vacuum. That space up there is filled with plasma. And being that it's a direct part of this process right here, and that this process is toroidal vortex, like everything else, the plasma organizes itself, self-organizing, toroidal plasmoids. And here's the fun part, I do mean bodies. Remember how I said Earth is a toroid? The universe is a toroid. Full of toroids, nested toroids, they're called. So that this is the Earth, and heaven has 3 levels. The sky, what we call space, where the sun and the stars are, and paradise, what we can't see, where the throne of God is, heaven. Has 3 layers, sky, space, and paradise. I put this in quotation so that hopefully you won't lose your mind, but rather know what I'm referring to, that space up there, past the sky. The second heaven, it is called. So the pyramids are on Earth, generating bodies in the sky. Self-organizing toroidal plasmoid sky bodies. Okay, stay with me. Understanding I'm not making up the self-organizing toroidal plasmoid part at all. That is happening still today. Think of it like unto a robot factory spitting out robot bodies with no operating system because the whole factory isn't functioning, just the part that spits out the bodies. The rest of it is all shut down, but the bodies keep piling up in the sky there, right? I'm not saying that no one has found use for those bodies up there. There are a bunch of demons that died in the flood. The demons, or unclean spirits, being the offspring of fallen angels mated with women. How did fallen angels mate with women? Well, have you heard of self-organizing toroidal plasmoid bodies in the sky? I don't know exactly, all right? But something real wild is happening here. Pyramids generate sky bodies that are also toroids. The toroid part being essential for life. What you're looking at right there could be referred to as metabolism when it's happening in you and I. Without metabolism, this body becomes uninhabitable. That's why even zombies gotta eat. Wait, zombies aren't real. We already have examples, potentials. Don't go dismissing that idea. Now, they're already using this in science. Arranging atoms into pyramid shapes, especially at the nanoscale, can create unique electromagnetic properties and effects. They're already using this in our technology. On the nanoscale, So that when I say that the law of distribution, the energy and mass is distributed at the same ratio on all levels, from the quantum physics to the cosmic, the laws of physics organizing that equally distributed mass and energy by the same rules on all levels, the quantum confirms the classical. When I tell you this has been observed of the pyramids, this right here is mainstream science. So let me tell you my whole theory. We're going to read 2 Bible verses. I'm going to point something out special in each one. The first is from Joshua chapter 24, verse 15. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom you will serve. And here it comes, look. Whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood. There it is. Or the gods of the Amorites in whose land ye dwell. Wait a minute, 2 different sets of gods? But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. What gods did their fathers serve that were on the other side of the flood? Because I know the gods of the Amorites were Nimrod and Semiramis, humans, who claimed to be descended from the gods on the other side of the flood. Wait a minute. Claimed to be the reincarnation of those gods who died in the flood. What? Were no longer to be found anywhere in the land after the flood. What are we going to do? Don't worry. One of their descendants got off the ark, and she had children. And now Semiramis and Nimrod and Tammuz can take the place of those gods that got wrapped in chains and thrown into hell when God flooded the earth. That's Genesis 6 and Jude chapter 1. 1 Peter 3, read that too. It'll help Ephesians 4 make more sense. Why did Jesus descend into hell when he got crucified? Well, one reason was to preach to disobedient spirits who fell in the days of Enoch. Okay, but if angels quit their first estate in heaven to come to the earth to be gods and mate with women, how did they mate with women if they left their bodies in heaven? What bodies did they have on earth? Our next scripture is Revelation 13, verse 14. I'm going to add 15 to it. There are 2 beasts mentioned in Revelation 13. The first is from the sea. The second is from the land. That's not the part we're going to focus on. The second beast deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, here it is right here, that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. The second beast makes an image for the first beast. If you don't know what all that's talking about, that's not what we're focusing on. Make an image unto the beast. And this is an idol, like Nebuchadnezzar made a gold statue of himself. But why did they make idols of themselves for men to worship and such? What is the idols thing? Making artificial bodies out of stone and metal and stuff? Verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Wait a second. This isn't a dude making a statue of himself and then he having his own people who won't bow down to his statue killed. It's talking about a statue that comes to life and has authority. God made a big deal all through the Old Testament about how the idols were dumb. They couldn't speak. They couldn't answer prayers. They couldn't do anything. They were statues. Why did they build statues and then think that they would do stuff for them, though? Like, where'd they get this idea? How did they know that this right here was even possible? They didn't really. They were very ignorant, but they got that idea from somewhere. Even if they didn't know what it meant, they had the idea from somewhere, and they were trying to do it themselves. And now we are building our own gods, but these are no longer dumb. They can talk and sweep the floor. And I'm not even going to tell you what the actual industry that's going to drive this is. So, recorded ancient Egyptian religion. Imagine you had to get on a boat to survive a worldwide flood. And you had your iPhone in your pocket. While you're on the boat waiting for the water to go down, your iPhone dies. Now what are you going to do? You came from a world of civilization and technology, but that's all gone now. You're going to tell your kids about it, and they're going to hold all of that knowledge in ignorance until time should catch up once more. And they can begin to understand what all of this actually means, what it actually does, rather than what a pitiful game of telephone taught ancient Egyptians. Can a god from heaven dwell in a building? Well, it does have a metabolism. Could a god from heaven enter into one of these buildings and use it to manifest himself a body of some sort? And can men be deceived into building bodies for celestial beings to leave theirs in heaven to come to earth to dwell in? I do not know how all of this is related yet. I only know that it is, and we are going to find out. There's nothing new under the sun. That thing that was is that thing that shall be again. As the days of Noah were, so shall it be once more. You don't believe in myths? That's funny, you're in one.